Welcome to this yoga practice, which is all about your balance, coordination, and stability, all important things that we need in our life. So to start, we are going to lie down on our back, and we're going to have our legs straight and our arms long by our sides. And just let yourself arrive. Just let yourself settle into your space, settle into where you are, taking a few deep breaths. So whatever you've had going on today, just leave it in the past, letting it go. And whatever you have yet to do today hasn't happened yet. You don't need to do it right now. So you're just focusing on this present moment, not ruminating over things that have been and not having any thoughts or anxiety over things that are yet to come. You're just allowing yourself to exist in your body with your breath on your mat right here, right now. Those deep breaths, just encouraging the mind to quiet, the body to settle and soften. So we're not taking any unnecessary tension into our practice with us today. Okay, so then we're just going to take a nice deep breath in and then exhaling all the way out. And then on your next breath in, take your arms all the way overhead. And then we're just going to leave them there. So it looks like we're a star. So if you had a bird's eye view of yourself, you would just be like a starfish lying on the ground, but quite a long starfish. So feet and hands are a little bit wider than shoulders and hip width apart. So on your inhale, you're going to lengthen your left leg and your left arm away from each other. So the whole of the left side body gets longer and stretches. Exhale, release it back to normal length. And then inhale, stretch the right side of your body. So reach your right foot away, reach your right hand away. And then exhale, release back to normal size or normal length. Keep going side to side. So inhaling to stretch that left side like someone's pulling your hand and foot apart. Exhaling to release. And inhaling the right side. And exhale to release. Good, one more each side. Really focus on sending your inhale into those left ribs, filling up that left lung as we reach that left side long. And exhale, soften. And last one to the right. Breathing into the right rib cage, filling up the right lung. Reach, reach, reach. And exhale, soften. On your next inhale, reach both arms and legs as long as possible. So taking the biggest stretch that you can. And then exhale, bring the knees into the chest, hugging them in with the hands, making some space in your spine, maybe rocking side to side, softening into the hip flexors, softening the thighs into the belly. We're going to keep those feet off the floor now, so the knees are just floating above the hips, and reach your arms toward the ceiling. Let the back of your shoulders be heavy into the ground, and I want you to feel that you can press your lower back into the floor here. So you might feel, or you probably will feel, an abdominal activation to press that lower back down into the floor. I want you to keep the lower back pressed down. And as you inhale, we're going to take the left arm behind us and tap the floor with the right toes. Then exhale, bring it back in. Then inhale, the right arm behind us, the left toes tap. And exhale, bring it back in. Good, so opposite hand and foot reaches away. So we just do that toe tap with the opposite hand reaching behind us. See if you can tap your thumb on the floor. So your palms are facing towards each other with your thumbs pointing toward the wall behind you. And as you take that hand back, you're just tapping the floor with your thumb and then bringing it back. So this is really nice for shoulder mobility as well as a bit of core control And of course, coordination to get that opposite hand and arm and leg moving away from each other. For the last few, if you want to make it a little harder, you can lengthen the leg all the way down to tap the heel on the floor with a straight leg and then bring it back. Beautiful. Let's just do one more on each side. Making sure that that lower back is still pressing into the ground. We haven't flared through our ribs or haven't lifted our tummy. Beautiful. Then bringing it back to center. Leave your arms up in front of you, but bring your feet down and have your ankles and knees together and turn your palms to face forward. We're going to do a windows action with the hands or with the arms. So all you do is just bend the elbows so the fingertips stay pointing toward the ceiling, but the elbows bend so that the back of the upper arms touch on the floor. So it looks like we are drawing the bottom of a window with our arms. And then we're going to bring them back up. So straightening the arms, fingertips still toward the ceiling. Let's do that again. So we're going to breathe in. Exhale, open the arms. And now as we inhale and reach them toward the ceiling again, we're going to take the knees wide and let the soles of the feet lift off the floor. So we come onto the outside knife edge of the feet. So we're in our butterfly position here. Now as we bring our arms back into windows, we're going to close the knees together. Inhale, reaching up, taking the knees apart. And exhale, bending the elbows, bringing the knees together. Good, keep going. So we're controlling this movement the whole way. And we're not just flopping the knees apart or just letting the arms release down to the floor with no control. So imagine that you're moving through treacle here. Beautiful, let's go for one more. Leaving the knees apart, but your hands up. We're going to then take the arms down to our thighs and just give the thighs a gentle press down. So we're encouraging that inner thigh opening here, taking a few deep breaths. And then we're going to take the arms wide, palms facing up. So we're in a nice T shape with the arms. We're going to make the action of closing a book, okay? So just if the soles of your feet aren't touching, just bring them together to touch now. So those knees are still wide, but soles of the feet are together. And we're going to close the right knee over onto the left knee, like we're closing the page of a book. Keep the back of the shoulders down and you'll feel a twist come into your body. Then we're going to inhale, bring that right knee back to where it started, so back into our butterfly. And then exhale, the left knee closes onto the right knee, twisting through our spine. Inhale, open the left knee wide. Exhale, close the right knee. If you like, you could turn your head to look to the right, so you're looking in the opposite direction of your knees. Inhale, bring your gaze back to the ceiling as you open the right knee back. And then exhale, closing the left knee, looking to the left in that full spinal twist. Good, let's do one more each side. Inhale, opening. Exhale, closing and turning the head. Inhale, opening. And exhale, closing. Beautiful. Let's come back to center on the inhale. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice big stretch and then straighten the legs. So you're making like a pencil shape. So reaching the fingertips, reaching the toes, arms and legs together. Good. One more breath in. And then exhale, bring the knees into the chest. One more hug in and rock up to your seated position. We're just going to do a seated forward fold now. So start with your right leg in front of your left. That may or may not be your usual way of sitting cross-legged, but that's fine. So we're going to start with that right leg in front of the left, and we're just going to take a walk down into a forward fold in front of us. So just stretching out the hips here. Notice where you feel that stretch through the back of your glutes or back of your hips. Breathing space into your lower back and releasing the head as much as you can, so you're really letting go of the back of the neck. I'm going to take a walk over to the left with those hands. So we're reaching now that right hand forward on that left diagonal, and yet still pulling back through that right hip. Breathing into the right rib cage, feeling that opposition of that reach of the arm, that pull back of the hip. Good. Then keeping that left hand planted on the floor next to you, reach your right arm up and overhead. So you take a side bend here, and then we're just going to circle that right arm as big as you can. So we're exploring that full range of movement in the shoulder joint. Good. Changing direction. One more circle. And then finishing with both arms up overhead here, reaching toward the ceiling. Without using your hands, if you can, you're going to change legs. So you're going to cross your left leg in front of your right leg. So that may or may not be the familiar way of sitting for you, but it's fine. Bring the hands down again. We're going to take a forward fold with this, with our legs crossed the other way. So we always have a habitual way of sitting or of doing things in general. So you probably always sit with one leg normally in front of the other if you tend to sit cross-legged a lot. So by doing something different, making the body feel something unfamiliar, it tunes it into more unfamiliar feelings, which we need when we need to work on balance and coordination. Balance and coordination is difficult because it's sometimes unfamiliar. So it trains the brain to recognize unfamiliarity and not panic and learn to deal with it and welcome it and manage it as it arrives. Okay, so it's good to feel something unfamiliar in the body and be interested and curious about it rather than, oh, I don't like that, and like instantly reject it or panic about it. So in saying that, let's take the stretch over to the right now. So reaching forward with that left hand, pulling back through the left hip, breathing into the left lung, the left rib cage. Making sure that that left hip is still glued on the floor. So we have that feeling of opposition through left arm to left hip. And then planting that right hand down next to you, reaching that left arm up into our side bend, and we start to circle that left arm, getting that full range of movement through the shoulder, involving the rib cage as much as you can. And then changing direction. It's always nice to inhale as you reach overhead and you're making space in the ribs, and exhale as the arm circles down. Beautiful. One more circle. And then finishing with both arms up overhead one more time. And see if we can get onto our knees into a kneeling position without the hands. So you can do that in any way that you like. I'm probably just going to rock forward onto my knees like this. And you're going to end up ready for your all fours position on your mat. So hands down, ready on all fours. So now in all fours, we're just going to do some pelvic tucks. So we're going to start with a tail tuck. So we're just rounding through the pelvis and the lower back, but try to minimize any movement through the shoulders if you can. Then we're going to lift the tail and find a lower back extension. Again, try not to change the shoulders. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Try and find space in your lower back. You've got to use your core here. Inhale, lift the tailbone, keep the shoulders and upper back neutral. Good, 2 more. Exhale, tuck. Try not to round through the upper back. Keep it in the lower back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, tuck. So we're segregating parts of our body for more control. Beautiful. Inhale, extend. and come back to neutral. And now we're going to separate movement between our shoulders. So we're going to first take an inhale. As you exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together without making any rounding or extending in your spine. Inhale, push the floor away to pull the shoulder blades apart. And exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift, pulling the shoulder blades apart, making space in the upper back. And exhale, squeeze, so the chest gets lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Make sure that your arms stay completely straight through all of this. Good, one more. Inhale, filling up the back of the ribs. And exhale, squeeze. And then bring yourself back into neutral. We're now going to join all that up in our cat-cow. So we have to think about the shoulders and the pelvis at the same time. So take an inhale. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone and lift the shoulders. So spread the shoulder blades apart as you round through that lower back. So your whole back rounds here. Inhale, lift the tailbone and squeeze the shoulder blades together, looking forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull the shoulder blades apart, looking down toward the knees, drawing the belly in. And inhale, lifting the tailbone, squeezing shoulder blades together. One more of each. Rounding, exhaling, and inhaling, lifting the tailbone, squeezing the shoulder blades. Good. Let's then take our hips back into a child's pose briefly, just to roll out the wrists, because sometimes when we're on our wrists for a while, some tension can build, but know that it does strengthen the wrists as long as you gradually increase the weight that you put on your wrists, not too soon, like not too much too soon, but it does help strengthen the wrist to be in all fours, which is ultimately healthy. So now we're going to come back to all fours and do a bird dog variation. So trying to keep your spine and hips as still as possible, we're going to pick up our left arm and right leg so it's floating off the floor. Now, we're not going to bring it down to the floor. We're going to bend the left elbow into the left rib cage as that right knee draws in towards the right elbow. So we end up with a bent chicken wing, like a left arm chicken wing, and that right knee is pulling into the right elbow. Then we're going to reach our limbs long again, and then bring that left hand, right leg down. Onto the other side, we lift the right arm, left leg, and then squeeze the elbow into the side as we bring the left knee in. Reach the right arm, left leg long, and then bringing it back down. Good, now with breath, we inhale to lift the left arm, right leg. Exhale, squeeze the left elbow in as the right knee draws in. Inhale, reach the arm and leg long. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, right arm chicken wings as the left knee draws into the left elbow. Inhale, reach long. And exhale, bringing it down. Let's just go for one more each side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Make sure that your spine is still straight, your core is switched on. Inhale, reach again. And exhale, lower. Inhale, reach right arm, left leg. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach. And exhale, lower. Lovely. Let's come back into child's pose one more time, this time bringing the arms behind the back, resting the head down if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, you can also just stack your hands to rest your head down. And taking a few breaths. And then we're going to bring ourselves into a half plank. So bring the hands back down to the floor, walk the knees back. So you're holding half plank. If you'd rather, you can take yourself into full plank, that's fine. Breathe in. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, lower yourself down to the floor. Inhale, little back bend into your cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes, send your hips up and back to our first downward dog. So just pedaling through the heels here, straightening one leg, bending the other. And then swapping over, bending the other leg while straightening the other. So it's like you're taking a little walk on the spot here in your downward dog. Just enjoying being upside down for a brief moment. And then we're going to take a walk to the front of the mat, coming into forward fold. When you get there into forward fold, just hold on to opposite arms, let yourself hang down, release the neck, release the arms. Good, and then releasing those elbows, roll all the way up to standing, finishing with a shoulder roll, back and down. Okay, let's get into some lunges, getting into our legs a little bit. So we're going to start with a chair. So we'll take the feet hip distance apart, and first just come into a nice easy chair, arms reach in front of you as you bend the knees, sitting the bum down, and then inhale, come back up. 2 more, exhale, sit down. Inhale, come back up. If you want to challenge your back and arms a little more, reach the arms all the way overhead. And then inhale, come back up. Good, now we're going to lift our left heel off the floor as we do that. So come into chair, lift the left heel. Inhale, come back up. Lifting the right heel now, bending into the left knee. Lift the right heel off the floor. Inhale, come back up. Good. Keep going, just alternating that heel lift as you bend down. So it will feel a little bit like you're doing a one-legged chair, but with less balance challenge because you're kickstanding yourself with your toes. Good, last one with the right heel lifted. Good, adding on here, we're going to take the left foot off the floor and do a full one-legged chair and then place the foot back down and then lift the right leg off the floor as you do your chair. Inhale, place it back down, standing up. Good, one more each side. Good, so now we're going to be in a chair on the right leg. So lift your left foot up as we come into the chair on the right leg. And then very slowly start to work your way back into a lunge. So reach your left leg behind you, lean forward, and find the floor with your left toes coming into your lunge position. Good, so it had to be you had to have a little more control there to find your lunge. So from here, we're going to breathe in and then exhale, take a knee drive back into standing. So pull the elbows back and in as you drive that left knee up in towards your chest. Then inhale, reach the arms up, step back into your lunge. Exhale, knee drive. Then inhale, step back into your lunge. Good, this time we're going to do a curtsy squat. So inhale, knee drive. Then exhale, step that left foot behind you and over to the right to do a curtsy squat. So you're lowering that left knee. Inhale, knee drive. Exhale, pulling it back into the lunge. Inhale, knee drive. Exhale, step back. Inhale. Exhale, lunge. One more with the curtsy. Inhale. Exhale, curtsy. And inhale, lunge. Good, stay in the lunge here. Take the left hand down to the inside of your right foot, taking a simple twist. So make sure that right ankle is directly underneath the right knee and your left leg is far enough back so you get a nice long line in your twist here. So pushing the floor away through that hand, engaging through your back leg, reaching toward the ceiling with the right fingertips. Make sure that right knee is pulling in toward the midline. One more breath in. Exhale, bring the right hand down. Heel toe your right foot across to the left side of the mat, bringing the knee down, coming into your pigeon. So we did a lot of work just then into the right leg. So we're just stretching out that hip, that glute, with a few breaths in pigeon. Slowing down the heart rate so you can come down onto your elbows here, maybe resting your head on the hands. Just taking a few breaths to let that hip ease off. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can walk the left knee back slightly. Good. Let's just take 2 more breaths here, nice and slow. And then slowly making your way back up. We're going to come straight into our plank. So tuck those left toes under, stepping back into a full plank, so on your hands and toes. Make sure that your back is straight, so we're not dropping the hips, you're not pushing your bum up toward the ceiling. And you're just going to lift the right foot off the floor. And just hover here, feeling that work in that left leg. Breathing, drawing the core in. Beautiful, taking that right foot down and then pick up the left foot. So you've really got to switch on through the front of that right leg to keep stability. Make sure that your hips haven't dropped, they're still square. Good, and then taking that left foot down, breathing in here. Exhale, lowering toward the floor, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, take your cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes back to downward dog. 2 deep breaths in downward dog. And then walking up to the front of the mat, coming into forward fold. And then inhale, come all the way up, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to do all that on the other side. So instead of going through the whole chair sequence, we're just going to go straight into those leg lifts in the chair, okay? So we're going to sit down into chair, lift the left foot up. Inhale, standing. Exhale, lift the right leg up. Inhale, standing. Exhale, sitting down into chair, taking that left foot off the floor. Inhale, placing the foot back down, standing tall. Exhale, lift the right foot off the floor as you come to chair. Good, 1 more each side. Good, staying on this side, so we're on our left leg now, our right foot is up. Slowly with control, we're finding our way back to our lunge, finding the floor with those right toes, arms reach up toward the ceiling, enjoying the space in this lunge. Beautiful. Okay, so here we go with the knee drives. I think I got the breath a little bit mixed up the time before. It really doesn't matter as long as you're breathing like 1 per movement. But let's try changing the breath this time. To exhale, bring the knee into the knee drive. So stand up, exhale. Inhale, step back into the lunge. Exhale, drive the knee. Inhale, step back. Adding the curtsy lunge now, so exhale, pull the knee in. Inhale, step over and across to the left, tapping the right knee on the floor if you can into the curtsy. Then exhale, bring the knee in. Inhale, step back to lunge. Exhale, knee in. Inhale, curtsy, over and behind to the left. And then exhale, knee in. Inhale, lunge, arms up. Exhale, knee in. Inhale, curtsy. Exhale, knee in. And this is the last one. Inhale, back to our lunge. And then exhale, right hand down into our simple twist. So I could have said that I did that on purpose so you can see how the breath is different from one pattern to the other. So let's pretend that was on purpose, that I changed the breath. But it genuinely is sometimes a good exercise to change the breath of your movements to see how different it feels on the body. Again, adding that unfamiliarity to your movement, and it keeps the body guessing. Good, 1 more breath here in your twist. And then exhale, bring that left hand down, heel toe that left foot across, coming into your pigeon. So you're on that left shin, bending that left knee. Bring the forearms down, resting the head down. Just taking a few deep breaths here, letting all of that soften.
I've been adding a fair bit of running into my training recently. I'm trying to compete in high rocks and my hips are definitely telling me about it. I don't normally have tight hips. I'm normally pretty good in that area, but since I started running, I can definitely feel that tightness is there now. So this is just as much for me as it is for you. So let's just stay here a little longer. Just remembering to take those deep, slow breaths to encourage the body to soften and letting go. If we shorten the breath or sip the air, that sends a signal to the body that we've got to tighten and protect our muscles. It's a bit of like a fight or flight response. So we don't want that. We're not going to get any more flexible by breathing like that. So we need to breathe deep and slow to encourage those muscles to stretch. Okay, let's bring it back into our plank position. So coming onto those hands, tucking the right toes, bringing the left foot back. Good, so you can either go back to your single leg lifts, or you can see how you go in your Superman plank. So we're going to start to lighten the weight off the right fingertips. And then once we have that established, you can start to lift the left foot and right arm up. Or maybe it's just the arm that you lift up. That can be enough as well. Good, this is super intense. Good, then bringing it back down. Going on to the other side. So start to shift your weight into the right hand to pick up the left fingertips. Then maybe taking that right foot off the floor. Try to keep your body as square to the floor as possible here. So we're not tilting over, bringing the left side of the body up too much. Good, and then bringing it back down. One more on each side, let's go. Right arm, left leg, lifts. You can hear by the shake in my voice that this is really hard. Good, and then bringing it down. Left arm, right leg. Beautiful, bringing it down. One more inhale with both hands and feet on the floor. Exhale, knees down, lower all the way down to the ground. And just stack your hands, rest your forehead down on your hands. And then with your head down here, I just want you to breathe deeply and slow the breath down. Feel your body pressing into the floor as you breathe. And because your head is down, you can hear and feel your breath. You get direct feedback of your breath coming in and out. I'm holding my head up because it's just too much in the mic if I'm down there. So just for your listening experience, I'm keeping my head up for you. And just feel your breath slowing down. Okay, so keeping your head on the floor, maybe you'd like to just rest your forehead on a cushion if that's more comfortable. You're going to reach your arms overhead, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bring your legs a bit wider than hip distance apart. And resting the head on the floor, we're just going to lift our right arm and left leg up at the same time. So again, all about diagonals this session, finding that length, that reach, reaching the left toes, reaching the right fingers, and trying not to drop through our lower back. Good, and then lower it down. Then lifting the left arm, the right leg, reach, reach, reach away. So long out of the right hip joint, long out of the left shoulder, through the left fingertips. Good, and then coming back down. Good, let's now lift the head and the shoulders. So we're coming up into a little bit of extension through our spine. So we're in a little bit of a back bend. Same thing, on an inhale, lift your right arm, left leg, reach away. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift left arm and right leg. Exhale, lower it down. Good, one more each side. Make sure that your legs are straight the whole time. There's no knee bending here. Good, onto the left arm, right leg. And exhale, lower it down. Good, either do that a few more times, or you're going to lift both arms and both legs together 3 times, okay? So we inhale, lift all the limbs, or diagonal if that's where you're at, then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift all limbs. Keep the back of your neck long so you're not arching or straining through the back of your neck. Good, one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower, beautiful. Bring the hands down under your shoulders. Push yourself back into your child's pose. Stretching out through your back body, through your back muscles. Finding that space through your spine, through the back of your hips. And then rolling up to kneeling. And then we'll come around onto our bum to do a nice little seated forward fold, just to help counter that movement. So inhale, reach both arms up. Then exhale, reaching forward for the feet, dropping the head and finding that hamstring stretch through the back of both legs. And I just really want you to think about finding ease here. The thing is with these forward folds is that it feels sometimes like a competition with yourself, because there's this very tangible goal of touching your toes, or, if you can touch your toes, then it's, I want to get my head to my knees. There's always these sort of benchmarks of progress that you're looking for. But that can really take away from the experience of where your body is right now in this moment. So try as hard as you can to just take away all of those benchmarks of achievement, because they literally don't matter at all. And just notice your body where it's at. Notice where it's tight, like the neck might be tight, your lower back might be tight, hamstrings obviously, or calves, back of the knees. And just let yourself soften into wherever you're at. So just here for a little while longer. So really let yourself release into this stretch. Maybe you'll feel that all those muscle spindles start to let go. Now you can get a little lower, but without pulling, without over asking your body. Beautiful. And then slowly rolling back up. And then we're just going to make our way down onto our back. Have your arms wide, feet as wide as the mat, and just rock the knees left and right. So all the way over to just get some looseness into those hips again. A little twist in the spine, heaviness in the shoulders. So just windscreen wiping those knees. And finishing with those knees back to center. And then walk the feet down to the bottom corners of the mat. Bring your arms down by your side. And just observe your body lying on the floor. Noticing your breath coming in and out. So this is where we come into our Shavasana, our deep relaxation. So if you have some time, then please stay here and rest for as long as you need. If you have to get going, then thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you soon.